sorry, just a little bit, because can you just expand on that? Because other people, scientists, would say you need to know what's wrong in order to fix it.
Uh-huh.
So what? How come that you're saying that you're limiting possibilities?
Okay, let's use an example. Let's talk about, this came up yesterday. Let's talk about, say you have a teenage girl that's dealing with bulimia. Okay? So there are ways in which we have, you're more expert in this than I am for sure, so I'm off territory, but ways in which we are describing bulimia as a diagnosis and the treatment for that. What's the problem? What's the solution? Okay, and the ways in which we're doing that are very limiting because they're looking primarily at behavior, nutrition, but what about the rest of the story? What about the culture and the media? What about the way the family has the relationships between the generations and the way that people talk about bodies and food and the way that people in the area that this person is living are dealing with recipes? What sort of things are available? How is the distribution and the agriculture part of this process? What is the role of the supermarket and the experience of commerce and food? How do all these things start to come into it? One of the obvious mistakes that we make is, for example, using DDT. So we had a problem. We have insects on the plants. So you put the pesticides on, and okay, that's great. It killed the insects, but actually, it also went into the soil. And when it went into the soil, it went into the groundwater. And then it began to affect not only those plants, but other plants and the other things that we were interacting with, and the dogs and the bees. And in the meantime, the insects become immune to the pesticides, but the stuff has gone into the water system. And people start to get cancer in those areas, and so on and so forth. So you can deal with a problem in a linear way. But what happens to all the rest of the nest of relationships that problem existed in is that the pathologies start to emerge in unexpected directions. So there is of course you can deal with something in a linear way, but there are consequences.